Welcome to our first ever Food Fridays with the Meeple Knights. I'm Kevin, and what we want to do is we want to create some good appetizers that are healthy that you can eat while gaming without getting your hands all messy. So this is what we're going to be making today. We're going to be doing shrimp with guacamole on top of cucumber bites. So these are what we got here. So why don't you come join me and we'll go ahead and learn how to make this. Before we get into that, if you enjoy our videos, you want to see more from us, let's do the normal like, subscribe, comment below. It helps to see our videos. And if you want to get notifications whenever we upload a new one, hit that little bell. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and season our shrimp. What I have here is 1 pound of large, deshelled, deveined, tail-off shrimp. Now you can get them anyway from your grocer. Generally when you get them with the vein in and the shell on, they're a little less expensive, but this is easier, so it's however you wish to prefer it. So we're going to go ahead and season that with half a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika here. So we're going to go ahead and just put that over top of there. And then we're going to go ahead and do pepper. So we've got salt, pepper, and paprika. We're just going to do a couple of cracks to get it covered over there. Alright, that's good. We're going to go ahead and get in there and we're going to just mix it up. So once this is mixed up, we're going to go ahead and let it sit for about 15 minutes or so. And while that's sitting, we're going to get the cooking station prepared. So once we get this mixed up, alright. So we'll just let that sit for 15 minutes, and then the first thing we're going to do is wash our hands. And then we're going to go get the cooking station prepared. So I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, so now we're over here at the stove. So we've got our pan warming up over medium-low heat. We've got our shrimp right here. And we've got our butter. So we want to get the pan hot first. So it's been warming up for about 3 to 5 minutes. And then we're going to put some butter in there. So let's go ahead and get some butter in there. And that's pretty much exactly what you want. A low sizzle, but you don't want it to immediately burn up and brown. So we want to get this butter melted, give it a moment to warm up, and then we're going to start laying our shrimp in there, 1 layer. Once we get 1 layer, we're going to let it cook, and then we're going to flip it, and then we're just going to repeat this process. So we've got that where all the butter's melted. Now it should be nice and warm. So let's go ahead and stick our shrimp in there. We're going to grab our juice. Now this is from that extra lemon, or extra lime, and the half of lemon that we had left over. We just squeezed the juice out into here. So we're just going to pour this directly into the hot pan. It should steam some, which is fine. And then we're just going to scrape the bottom a little bit. Alright, now that we've got all the bits off the bottom, we're going to add this last little bit of butter, and that's just going to give a little extra. Alright, so that's not quite yet where we want it, but I'm just going to take it off the heat for a moment to let all the steam clear and show. So we've got so if you can see, it's a lot thicker. It's not quite where we want it yet, but it's fairly close. So I just wanted to get that steam to clear up a little bit to show you guys. And once you're at this part, it'll thicken fairly rapidly. So as you can tell, now it's less of a liquid, and now it's starting to hang out some. So that's about where we want it. It's a bit of a sauce consistency now, if you can tell. So with that, we're going to go ahead and put our shrimp back in there, and then just toss it a little bit to coat it and combine. Alright, so now we got a little bit of sauce on there, and we're good. So you can go ahead and turn off your heat. Transfer these back to your plate. Remember, this is a plate that had the cooked shrimp on it, so we're fine. So we'll transfer that back to the plate. Alright. And we'll go ahead and turn our heat off, and we'll make our guacamole, and then I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so let's go ahead and start making our guacamole. We've got all of our ingredients here. So we've got our 3 avocados. The recipe calls for 2, but these are fairly small, so we're going to go ahead and use 3. We've got 1 jalapeno, our bowl to mix everything in, 1 large red onion, lemon, lime, pepper, and salt. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and slice our avocados. To do this, there's 2 ways we can do this to be safe. We can either do a flat hand around the side. We're just going to cut it in the center. We're just going to turn. And once we connect, we'll go ahead and take our avocado. We're just going to twist and pull apart. Now to get the pit out, we're going to take our knife. We're going to take this part of it, and we're going to punch that right into the core of the avocado. Now all we're going to do is just twist it out a little bit, and it comes out. Now instead of grabbing this off, we're just going to take our thumb and our finger here, we're just going to push it off. So then that comes right off. To get the skin off the avocado, we're just going to cut the tip. Cut the tip again. And then we can peel this off fairly easily. See how easy that comes off? You can just put that in, or you can slice it. The other way we can do it is you can hold it in your hand and take the avocado and just slowly cut. Now take care to always make sure that your hand is on the opposite side of the avocado. If you're uncomfortable with this way, just do it the first way I showed you. So then once we're all the way around again, take the avocado, twist. Then again, we're going to take our knife, take the pit out, just shimmy a little bit, comes out, and pop it off. And right in the other one. All right, here we've got this last avocado here. So what we want to do is we want to cut off just the tip of both of these sides, and then we're just going to peel the skin off. So again, we grab our knife, and we're just going to cut off the side of that. We're going to turn around and do the same thing to the other side. Now if we only cut off one of the sides, it's going to want to stick to it. So by cutting off both of the sides, then it makes it easier. So we're just going to go around the edge here. Make sure you can see that. We're just going to peel this off. Then we're just gonna take it and turn it, almost like you're taking a shell off a hard-boiled egg. It's gonna come off real nice and easy. And that's how you peel an avocado, very easily. All right, now that we've got the avocado mashed, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to cut up our nice onion. We want to do this in a dice, so to make it smaller and easier to eat. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take our knife. We've got two ends to it. We've got the hairy end, the root end, and then we've got the other end that doesn't have the hair on it. This is the side we're gonna cut off. So we're just gonna take our knife, we're gonna cut this side off. And I like doing this first before I cut it in half, simply because now it's got a nice stable base when I cut it in half. So this isn't gonna roll around on me now. So I'm gonna take it and I just want half of this. So I'm gonna cut this in half. So I put it where I want and then I put my hand over it like that so I don't have to worry about getting cut. And let's cut it in half. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and dice this onion now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come across twice, and then we're going to cut along the top. And that will set us up to just come down straight across and dice it. So the first thing we need to do is peel the top off of this, the skin off. So a lot of people are worried about frying with the onions. So there's a lot of tricks on the internet, and the simplest thing to do is just to have a sharp knife. So we're gonna go ahead and do our cross first. So we're just gonna come down here and we're just gonna slice it, not all the way through. Now if you can see where this is at right now, it's not all the way through, so that's good. We're gonna go ahead and do it again on the top. And I'm putting my hand flat because if I try and grip it like this, then my fingers are in the way of the knife. So we want the hand flat, and I'm not pressing down, I'm just holding it still. And then I'm using the knife to get through and do all the work. Again, I'm not going all the way through because I want this to hold everything on. So we're gonna go ahead and do our top slices. We're not gonna go all the way in the back again because we want the back of this onion to hold everything together. So we're just gonna go right there, there, there. And these, how far apart we go with these and the first cuts that we showed are determine how close together these dices are gonna be. All right, so we've got those, and then we're just gonna go ahead and start dicing. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna dice. Just gonna cut down, move back a little bit, cut down, cut down. Now when you get this little bit left, we can either do the same thing, cross it, go down and dice it, or you can set this piece aside in the freezer and save it for a vegetable or chicken stock. All right, so now that we have our onion diced, the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and do our jalapeno. So we're gonna get our jalapeno. This is much easier to do. We're just gonna cut off the stem here, and you cut off the tip, slice it in half, and then we're gonna take all the seeds out. Once we get all that out, we can go ahead and just dice it up and add it in. Go ahead and do the stem, this end, and we're gonna go. We're just gonna go long ways and then turn it and dice. All right, so as you can tell from my cuts, I am not a chef trained. I just like good food, so I cook it at home, and I want to share that with you guys. All right, so that's one, and then we're gonna go ahead and do the other one. Once that's diced, we're going to go ahead and add that to our guacamole as well. You don't need to mix it each of these steps. Once I get the salt, pepper, lemon, and lime in there, then I'm going to go ahead and mix it all up and combine it. Alright, so now that we've got all that added, all that's left is the lemon, lime, salt, and pepper. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and do the lemon first, and all we're going to end up doing is cutting this half and using half of this lemon and squeezing the juices in there. You can zest it if you like. That adds a little bit of extra lemon flavor to there. It's fairly nice, but I'm not going to go ahead and do that. We're going to keep it a little bit simpler this time, and we're not going to do that. So we just go ahead and cut it in half. Neat. We're just going to put the salt and the pepper in. We're going to mix it up and then we're going to taste it. As you see, I've got a couple of spoons. After you taste it once, then you want to get that spoon off to the side to clean and use a new spoon once you add more salt and pepper to your liking. Alright, so the last thing we have to add is our flat leaf Italian parsley, which wasn't on the ingredients list before in the video. So the flat leaf Italian parsley has a lot more flavor than the curly leaf version, which we're used to as garnishes. So all we're going to do is we're just going to take a little bit. It ends up being about a teaspoon once it's chopped up. So we're just going to take a little bit. We don't have to worry about the stems because we're consuming this for ourselves, but if you're in a high-end restaurant, you wouldn't have the stems in there. And we're just going to chop this up. And we'll go ahead and just chop this up and fast forward. Chopped up about that fine. We're going to go ahead and add it to our guacamole and then mix it up. Now we've got some bits left on the knife here. So in order to get this off, we're just going to take a finger and we're going to push away from the edge of the knife. Then we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to push away from the edge of the knife. Now pushing away from the edge helps make sure that we don't get cut. So we're going to go ahead and add this into our guacamole. Let's move this down here. So we're going to get some salt here, and I use kosher salt. It has less of a salty taste than iodized salt. If you're using iodized salt, then you want to be very careful. Use a lot less and taste it much more often. It's very easy to oversalt with the table salt. I prefer kosher salt because you can grab it. Just sprinkle a little bit in. This is going to end up being about 1 teaspoon. We're going to go ahead and put some pepper in there. Just a couple. Alright, now next we're just going to grab a little piece, grab a little bit from the side, and we're going to taste it and see if we need some more salt and pepper. That's good. That's good. Alright, so if you're right here, you'll have your guacamole made. You'll have your shrimp made. If you're planning to do this in the future, right now is where you'd stop, and you can refrigerate all of that and assemble it for 1 to 2 days after you've made all of this. But I'm going to go ahead and continue, so I'll see you guys in a moment. Alright, we're almost at the end. So we have our shrimp, we have our guacamole. Now all we need to do is cut up our cucumbers and assemble. So what we're going to do is we have regular cucumbers here. The skin can be a little tough on these. They've been washed already, so we're just going to peel off part of the skin to make them easier to eat and just more pleasant. So we got our trusty peeler. We're going to go ahead and peel, turn a little bit, peel more, and then we're going to All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and cut them. Just basic knife, we're gonna cut off the ends. Basic knife skills, cut off the ends. And then we're gonna dice them into about 1/2 inch slices. So these are gonna be the base for our entire appetizer. Got our guacamole made. So all we get to do now is assemble it. One of the great things about this recipe is that if you don't like shrimp, you can go ahead and substitute it with like cube chicken. You can cook it exactly the same way. You can do pork, you can do hard-boiled eggs, you can do shredded chicken, you can do pretty much any meat and substitute it that way. If you don't like guacamole, you can substitute some sort of sour cream or something like that. That would be kind of a creamy base, and you can still use the same thing. So all we're doing now is we're just going to go ahead and set our layers down. Our layers of cucumbers, and these are going to be the base for each of our little bites. So you don't have to do all of these at once either. You can do as many as you think you're going to need, and then just refrigerate the rest of it and assemble again when you need more, or you can assemble them and put them in the refrigerator and wait. This is right before here's a good step to leave them as is. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, I like to just do 2 spoons, and then scoop up a bit of guacamole here, and then we're going to take it, and we're just going to spoon it onto there with the other one. We don't want it all the way to the edges because we want to be able to grab a clean piece. We're just going to do that with all of these. It's easier to do it all at once for, do all the guacamole all at once, and then come back and put the shrimp on there, and just kind of keep rotating out as you need, rather than trying to do one at a time. This is a little bit more faster, just kind of like an assembly line. So let's go ahead and fast forward. All right, so now we got the guacamole on top of these. Now we're gonna go ahead and just put the shrimp piece on top of there. And if you got large or extra large shrimp, you may want to go ahead and cut these up into halves or thirds to get them to fit. But based on the size that I have, it looks like they're going to fit. So let's go ahead and just start popping these on there. There's different ways you can orient them depending on how much you like them. Like if you got a little guy like this one, you put him straight up, kind of let him hang out like that. You can go flat. And it's really up to you at this point. So once you get these finished, you can do some extra things like you can put some diced green onions on top just to make it a little bit prettier, sprinkle them with that. You can do pretty much whatever you want to add just a little bit of flavor and just make it work for you. These shrimp can be warm or cold, doesn't matter. So right now we're working with cold shrimp. But that's okay, shrimp is good regardless. All right, so then there we have it. We've got our shrimp bites. And I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me on Food Fridays.